Welcome to Beyond the Huddle, a Central Arkansas FCA podcast where faith meets competition. Join host Josh Adair and Zach Rose as they dive into real stories from athletes, coaches, and leaders making an eternal impact through sports. Each episode brings powerful conversations on faith, leadership, and living boldly for Christ in every field of play and walk of life. This is Beyond the Huddle.
Welcome to Beyond the Huddle, the Central Arkansas FCA podcast where faith meets competition. I'm your host, Zach Rose, and with me, my, I was going to say beautiful and blue.
Yes.
But you'll see him if you're watching on our video podcast. He is beautiful blue today. He's got his blue hoodie on, kind of brings out the color in your eyes. So my co-host, Josh Adair, is with me. Don't know why I started saying that, but here we are. Flattering you again.
I think we're getting really comfortable on the podcast.
Yeah, we are getting a little comfortable.
Yeah.
It's episode 28, I think. 27, 28.
We almost have a month's worth of weekly episodes.
We do.
Wow.
So if you haven't watched it, if this is your first episode, you can start from one and have one every single day.
Or you could binge for 28 hours.
Yeah, that's true.
Straight through.
Binge?
Yeah. I mean, if you got a long road trip and you want a good podcast, you learn about ministry stories or people in ministry or be inspired by what God's doing in other places and how he can work in your life, then put us on play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or if you can't sleep at night, you can put it on too, like my daughters do, to go to sleep.
When are we going to get some Beyond the Huddle merch? I feel like that has to happen at some point.
I think the originator of the dream needs to provide that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of merch, should we talk about our...
No,
we shouldn't. But we should talk about... I didn't think that one through before I started that thought.
Yeah, no. We got
about
a
a couple of announcements.
Great opportunity. I have it here on my phone, but Silas, our producer, will put it up on the screen. We have a 12 Days of Christmas gun giveaway that we're running. Just as an opportunity to, I like to play Santa Claus in December. So December 12th to the 23rd. We will give away a gun a day, different guns. There's handguns and shotguns and rifles and a couple of ARs in there, just as a way to help promote ministry, $100 donation. And it's not a tax deduction. It's just a donation to ministry. Get you a ticket. We will draw on December 12th through the 23rd, announce one winner a day. It's all being run through and sponsored by Webb's Sporting Goods in DeWitt, Arkansas. And they have the guns. That's where if you win, you would go there to pick it up. It's just a great opportunity at the end of the year to make a donation to support ministry. Coming out of great Fields of Faith season and all the things that God is doing there, hearing great faith stories of people, as we heard Pooh's podcast last week, 4 Bible studies starting fresh and new out of Fields of Faith, and people engaging. I talked with her today. She said their student ministry had close to 20 new people that they've never seen before because their kids are inviting people who don't go to church. Instead of swapping sheep, they're looking for lost sheep. And it's just a really great thing. So the gun giveaway is a great way to support all ministry that we do in Central Arkansas East for our 5 counties, 5.5 counties, whatever. And just really excited to help some people win some firearms and have an opportunity and make some phone calls and play Santa Claus for a couple of days.
You like to play Santa Claus, don't you?
I do.
Have you ever wore a Santa suit before? I feel like that's something you could be gifted at.
No, never a Santa suit.
Is that a calling?
Santa?
Yeah.
I don't know the phone number. I don't know. Oh,
boy. I feel like some people are kind of born
a calling?
for that.
Yeah. I mean, there's a friend of mine in Texarkana that plays a very good Santa. We actually saw him at FCA camp.
Huh.
And he...
he did a good job.
Yeah, his suit is custom and in the range of $1,500 to $2,000 for a Santa suit. Goes to all the Santa conventions, has the beard original grown on his face, not applied.
Yeah, that's the kicker right there.
Yeah.
You got to grow the beard.
Yeah, and he's got the specs that match, and they're not fake, and they're real to his prescription and everything. Like it's legit.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's about to get busy. He just finished he's got one more Fields of Faith next week, and then he's
about to get busy. Christmas is coming.
Christmas is coming.
Oh, man. That's so good.
All of his appearances about to happen.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Yeah, so if you're interested and you like guns, or you know anybody else that likes guns, you want to have a chance to win 12 guns. One ticket has a chance to win 12, which if you win on day one, your ticket goes back in the hopper for the other 11 days. And I've only had one repeat winner, but it's not impossible. It is possible, and we're just excited to see what happens.
Yes, we are. And
so if you're interested in that and you want a ticket, you can call me, you can text me, 501-743-8857. So give me the details on the gun giveaway. Silas put up the poster again. That way you can see it on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you watch the podcast at. And we'll run it till all the tickets, only 300 tickets sold. Until they're all sold, we'll keep running and until the 12th, then we shut it off and give away guns.
Yeah. If you don't know where else to find the podcast or video podcast, we do stream it on Facebook, on YouTube. It'll be up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. So if you're looking for a different avenue to either watch us and see our beautiful faces on camera, I guess, beautiful and blue, then we'd love for you to watch it there as well. But if not, if you're listening in the car, that's great too. It's also airs live on Faith Talk 99.5 at 6:05 p.m. every single Monday night. So we'd love to have you listen or watch the show however you best prefer. But today we've got a very special guest with us, and he man is an encouragement to me. I love it when we have some younger staff who sees the vision of FCA and can kind of take it and run. I've been encouraged by a lot of our conversations and just getting to hear his perspective on ministry and life. And he's expecting a baby soon too. So he's kind of grown up. He's going to be a dad soon. That's kind of a crazy title, but we've got Mr. Spencer. Now, your last name is Cowgill, right?
That's
is that
right.
How you pronounce it?
That
Cowgill.
is right.
Spencer Cowgill. He's with us today. So I almost want to say give it up for him. Like we need to get a live studio audience in here. Yeah. Yeah. We need to get a little audio track sometime. Yeah. Josh didn't like that idea, but Spencer's here with us today. Spencer, would you
just stick to the basics?
Spencer, would you just share a little bit about yourself, where you serve, how long you've been with FCA staff? Just kind of give us the rundown of who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, thanks for having me on the podcast. It is neat to be clarified as a young FCA staffer because my wife calls me an old man. But yeah, so
she does not.
She does. Behind closed doors, there are things that happen that the public does not know. I get bashed at home.
Wow.
Yeah. Old man.
Wow.
Right. 3 years. It's a 3-year age gap. Old man. Crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Anyways. So Spencer Cowgill, been on staff with FCA for almost 3 years. I joined FCA back in February of 2023. And now I'm currently serving as an area rep in Conway, Arkansas. So the central Arkansas area. Love Conway. Man, I went to school at UCA and finished school there in 2022. And so after that, when I joined FCA, I moved away to Hot Springs, lived there for a year, served in South Central Arkansas. And then I moved to Arkadelphia so that Abby and I could get married, and she was able to finish up playing soccer at OBU. And then we have now moved back to Conway 2 months ago. So August 1st is when we moved, and it's good to be back. It feels like a homecoming for me. She's never lived there, so it's fresh and new and fun for her. But it's so cool to be in this moment, welcoming our son, Truett, into the world in 4 or 5 weeks. It could be tomorrow. Who knows?
It could be.
I mean, she's 34 weeks pregnant right now, so She's big and round. Nothing fits, and we've got a baby appointment after this, and so who knows?
Yeah.
He could be here any day now.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's exciting.
That is exciting.
Are you allowed to say that?
What?
The BNR.
The BNR. I have no idea.
You use adjectives B and R.
I don't know.
Big and round.
Big and round. Oh, I see. I'm following.
I used the B and B to describe you earlier, so I think anything goes.
Yeah, anything
I'm
goes.
not a female, and I'm not worried about how I look.
Yeah,
sure.
I've watched the podcast before. There's no rules and regulations in this
I'm
room.
just worried about you and how much you'll be praised when you go home, since you've already told us other things happen behind closed doors.
Well, hey, listen, here, the truth is she's amazing. I'm just saying she calls me an old man.
Yeah. That's respectable.
So I just
and old
appreciate
men
you.
say whatever they want to say. So
That's
go
right.
right. Go
That's
on,
right.
Go ahead.
That's right. Yeah.
Go on ahead.
Yeah. They become unfiltered.
Man, that's good. So you've kind of moved around to a few different areas in your time with FCA. But before we jump into that, kind of just explain maybe a little bit of your athletic background, why you were so engaged with FCA, how you came on staff, and kind of your calling.
Yeah. So I grew up playing a lot of different sports. The first one, as for most, 4-year-old boys, is t-ball. I loved baseball growing up. I'm left-handed, so I kind of had the upper hand there, and people just loved a lefty on the mound. Yeah. And so baseball was kind of like my first love. Never played soccer. My sister played soccer. Never really picked that up. But baseball, basketball, started basketball young with Upwards. Y'all remember? Is that still a thing? I think it is. It's got to be a thing.
I don't know. I know that Kaz McCaslin, who started Upwards, came over to FCA. So I don't know that if it is.
It's
okay.
It's
he
a
crossed
downward
the board.
trend.
Okay.
It might be FCA Sports.
Yeah,
now.
That's
right.
Who does FCA Sports?
That's right. Awesome. Yeah. Cool. Anyways, so I did that back in the Gap, and now reflecting back, I remember when basketball kind of took over my love of baseball. I knew that I just kind of had a knack for playing basketball, and I started to get a little bit better at it. I had a good jump shot on me. I wasn't always the fastest or quickest kid, but I enjoyed the game. And so growing up through junior high and even high school, man, basketball was really the only sport that I played. I ran track and played golf my last 2 years of high school, but my dream and my ambition was to play college basketball. And so that was what I was chasing. And I put in a lot of hours in the gym, lots of time on the shooting gun and just putting up shots and working on ball handling. Had a personal trainer who was awesome, and he really helped elevate my game to the next level. And I was able to sign a letter of intent to go play at a Division III school in Louisiana. But when I got there, man, I just kind of started to crumble. And I showed up at the age of 18, man, thinking that I was just on top of the world, and I got humbled very quickly. And my response to that was not mature and not gritty. I just kind of fell back into the shadows, decided to leave that team and try to play back home at A&M Texarkana. They had a brand new basketball team that was starting whenever I moved back, and I thought that maybe I could start there. And that didn't pan out. And so I just started to kind of wrestle with my identity, and that's a big part of where I'm at today. Helping these coaches and athletes with their identity and recognizing that, sports can be so captivating. It draws people in from the outside. There's lots of fans and there's a big fan base in sports. But at the same time, once you're on the inside, you've been held captive, and sports is drawing out something from the coach and from the athlete. And that is performance and pleasing others, pleasing the people that you are trying to hold captive. And that can be binding, and that can be just intimidating too also. And so, man, I fell into that, just wrestling with who am I? Is basketball really who I am, or just something that I do? And the Lord finally just, I say called me out of basketball, but at the same time, man, it was just time to let go. So I let go and moved to UCA, finished my last 2 years of college there. And I was a student manager for the men's team, which was awesome. But at that time, I'd hung up the shoes, man. I was done with ball and finally felt some relief. And that was a start of my journey of finding purpose in Christ, and not just people's pleasure and my performance and what people think of me. And so that's a little bit of my background with sports. But how I got to FCA is a whole nother story, which I'm excited to share because it's fascinating, and it blows me away every time I share the story. Because, man, growing up in Texarkana, FCA was a big presence. Eric Aiken does a wonderful job with Fields of Faith, and I remember the very first one, and I went to it, and I thought, man, this is incredible. But my knowledge of FCA was that I thought that it was a ministry that did a big event once a year, and that's all they did, and that's all that I knew. And so once I left college in December of 22, I had a exercise and sports science degree. And so I thought, man, I'm going to go and become a physical therapist, or maybe coach for a few years and just get my feet wet with sports or something like that, because I'm passionate about it. and I love sports. And those job opportunities did not pan out. And I started to like question God, like, all right, where am I going to start a career? I need a job. I'm trying to marry my, at the time, girlfriend. I wanted to propose to her and wanted her dad to know that I would provide for her, but I didn't have a job. And it was months after graduating college. And there was one night I was just wearing out Indeed.com, wearing it out, looking for jobs. I was desperate. I really was, Josh. I was desperate. And I was, I mean, it was like 10 p.m. at night. I was looking. And then just this thought from the Holy Spirit, which I believe to be very true. He planted the idea of FCA in my mind that night. So I typed it in. I Googled FCA, and I was like, okay, ministry, sports. I know Eric has done this. I've seen it. Maybe I can apply and do something with FCA. I just need a job, you know. I'm passionate about Jesus, passionate about sports. Here we go. So I apply. The next morning, I get a call from the director of the area that I applied for. And we start talking, and he's excited. And he tells me, all right, well, hey, let's go through this tryout training, onboarding process, and let's get you going. And also, we will send you some kind of link, and you can watch a video concerning support raising, because this is a job where you raise your own support. And I was like, okay, that sounds great. Hung up the phone, didn't do anything. I said, I'm not raising my own support. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm not doing that. And so a few weeks go by, and I had literally ran away from FCA. I wasn't going to do it. I was going to find a different job to where I did not have to raise my support. And it was so cool because there was a random day 3 weeks later where the coach, the assistant head coach from UCA, contacted me and wanted me to rally up my former fraternity brothers and go to a UCA basketball game. And that's why he was reaching out, nothing more, nothing less. I said, all right, I can holler at those guys. Well, that same night, he was at a National Park basketball game where I was living in Hot Springs at the time. And I ran into him and hadn't seen him in 2 years. And so he starts asking me, man, how you doing? Have you found a job yet? Where are you working? And I'm thinking, man, this is it. He's going to ask me to be a graduate assistant. I'm going to go back to UCA and work for the team. Well, he didn't ask me that. But what happened was he heard that I was still looking and searching for a job, and went back to Conway and told Ryan Webb about me, thinking about FCA, but I turned it down. I wasn't really sure. And so Ryan calls me the next day and says, dude, you've got to get in touch with my guy, Micah May. Go see Micah, talk to him about FCA, and just see what happens next. And so I did. I said, all right, well, here we go. A leap of faith. Let me call up this guy named Micah May. He said, go to his farm. I'm like, all right, we're going to find a red barn in the middle of a field and go to Micah May's farm. Never heard of the farm before. I show up, and it's family farm. You guys have seen it. It's, chickens and dogs and cats running around everywhere. And
so this is FCA, huh?
This is FCA. I'm like, what are we doing? And I go to his house. Man, we talk about just kind of my heart behind where I want to be. He shares some more about the ministry. He takes me to the headquarters in Kansas City next week following our meeting. I go to the boot camp that trains you on raising support. I come back home. I feel the calling to the ministry. And from that point forward, I had decided to release all of me and all of what I was trying to hold on to the Lord, because Micah told me this. He said, a man of God is not going to make a decision based on fear. And I was fearful of the finances. I wanted to control my finances. And I had to release that to the Lord. And since then, looking back, it's been one of the best decisions of my life to follow his calling, to be obedient, to serve with FCA. And man, it's been a wonderful journey. And raising support is so beautiful. You guys know that. It's a grind, but you're inviting people to be a part of what we are doing every single day. And that's just changing lives and impacting coaches and athletes.
Yeah. That's so cool. Him and I have you and I have a very similar story of
Indeed.com.
Indeed.com.
Is that part of the story?
No, but okay. I did like how you said that, wearing out Indeed.com. There's some people that are wearing out Indeed.com, respectfully. Yep. And they're probably running from the call that God has on their life. But y'all aren't ready to hear that.
I don't know that I disagree with that.
Yeah. But even to just like towards the end, you talk about you felt led and called to FCA in the ministry, but it wasn't right away that your heart was like captivated by that. It it took some time to kind of prune and develop a little bit of your relationship with the Lord of like, here's the deal. Everything has led to this. God's got me in this corner. Not that I can't choose to go other ways, but there's no other option that will fulfill me more than where he's called me to right now. And I love hearing the stories of our FCA staff who have come on, and that's what it is. It's a calling. It's a calling to this ministry. It's a calling to reach every coach and every athlete. And so we're thankful that you're on the team, especially here in Central Arkansas now. But man, what a really neat story and opportunity of just how the Lord operates and moves, and he works all things for his good. We know that, but sometimes it takes a little bit of difficulty and hardship and a little bit of self reflection to get to the point to where you need to be, where you're humble enough and you say, Lord, I trust you with my finances. Support raising can be difficult at times, especially when you're already looking for a job and you're like, well, now I got to raise all this too. But, and I know you could probably speak to this, but every time I know I've needed some kind of financial support or any kind of thing to continue to keep me in the ministry and take care of my needs, it's been there. And that's the beautiful thing about God, is he does take care of our needs as we follow him and are faithful and obedient to him. So, Josh, you got anything over there?
Yeah, I think a lot of people think it's really fun to just show up and work for FCA. Oh, it'd be a cool job. Is it a job? Sometimes. But when it gets hard, twice, 3 times, 4 times the last 24 hours had this conversation of why do people do what they do? My favorite question in the world to ask a coach is, why do you coach?
That's good.
Why'd you get into coaching? I'm like, what do you mean? Why did I coach? Well, why'd you coach? So during that whole conversation, I'm like, so why are you so tough on your team? Is that why you got into coaching? Because that's what parents see from the stands. They're like, ooh, well, I got in coaching because a coach made an impact in my life and believed in me. I'm like, are the words that you're saying add belief and add value to the players that you're coaching? Or your interactions with your fellow coaches that are underneath you, or up to your head coach or your athletic director or your superintendent, everybody else, are you adding value? Are you doing? So there's that question of why do you coach? Or met with a pastor yesterday. He's like, how do I help other pastors on my staff that I really don't know what's going on or why they're here? I'm like, well, go back to their calling. What did God call you to do? Why are you here? If you can figure out why you're called and what the calling is, and back to FCA, we all have individual callings of the Lord on our lives to serve in this ministry. Is it fun? Heck yeah. Is it challenging? Absolutely. Is there times where you're like, I don't know what to do? When you have to raise support, I really don't want to make that phone call. I don't want to do anything else. Yes, but if you can always go back to that point where God called you and made it absolutely clear why you're here and what you're doing, then it's easy to make that phone call. Or it's easy to say the hard thing to the coach, or to show up to a school campus where they've kicked you out 3 times before, but you're still showing up to show them that they care and that you're there to serve them, or to add value to their lives, or if there's a player who gets injured on the court and you show up to the emergency room because you care for the team and you've adopted the team. You just want to show up, and you get there and there's nobody else there but the parents in the waiting room. You just get to be there to minister. It's all because of what you're called to do, of why we do what we do. A lot of times I think people forget the calling that God has placed on their lives, and they just get comfortable doing a job. They just get comfortable doing what they do because it puts food on the table, helps them pay bills or do anything else. And they forget how to dream. They forget where God has led them to, and where if he's led you to here, it's like Ebenezer, God's led us to here. And because he's led us here, we can always know that he's led us here and he will lead us on into the future. I think, what's that? By age 13, I think is a stat. And in your teenage years, when you start to become a teenager, you stop dreaming. kids' imaginations run wild, and it's one thing you'll learn. Both of y'all learn when you have your own kids and they're having dreams and imagination time, to do not be the dad that just sits there and watch it. Get on the floor with them and play and build and do everything, because when you're engaging with your own kid who is dreaming and who's playing and doing, then it inspires you the opportunity to dream again. I think most people, by the time that they're teenagers and then they start becoming career focused, they think, or this is my one sport that I'm going to play for the rest of my life. Then they get hurt and they can't play that one sport anymore. So why do they do that? They forget to dream. They're like, I just want to play. Well, just play. Play what you can, when you can, all the time. But it goes back to who are you? Why? I mean, our identity is huge, and it's the same too in our FCA staff. It's who are you? Who did God call you to be? Why are you here? Said this multiple times the last 24 hours too. I didn't plan to say it today, but when your why is big enough, the how will take care of itself.
That's the truth. That's the truth. And that's so true, Josh, what you were saying about whether it's support raising or ministering to coaches or making disciples in general, it's relational. A big part of FCA is building relationships. And even coming into support raising, whenever I first started, it was my mindset, and this is not bad, but it was just where I was. It was, okay, what can people do for me? Because I need support. I need support. Sure. And now it is, what can we do for these people? What can we offer to them? How can we bring them on board to be a part? Same with the coaches. It's not, well, what can I get from this coach, this powerhouse school? Let me get a free t-shirt or something and have a meal with this awesome coach that's won state championship after state championship. No, it's, how can I minister? How can I love on? How can I serve this coach? What can I do for them? And that's all stemming from a basis of not being driven by performance or, man, what do people think of me? Or does my ministry look good to others? But passion and just serving them. Lose the performance, seek the mission of serving others.
Yeah, definitely. I think in what Josh is saying too, the idea of becoming comfortable in your calling, of we get stagnant at times of, man, I mean, thinking the first story that comes to mind is David. King David was great and did a lot of great things, but he also fell because he became stagnant and his feet were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that caused him to stumble. Read the story of David and Bathsheba. David was in the wrong place at the wrong time because he chose to be there instead of fulfilling the calling that was placed on his life as king in that time period. But I find myself in that daily. It's, man, what are you going to do not to just fulfill your job description, but to walk with the Lord and say yes. Okay, I receive, Holy Spirit, what you have for me today, and I want to go out and really make disciples. And on the days where I really take the time to spend with the Lord and make a focus and cater my energy to, okay, Lord, I don't want to just complete a bunch of these tasks just to get my job done. I want to walk with the Holy Spirit in my life today and be engaged with the people that I come in contact with. Those are the days that are so much more fruitful than any other day where, yes, we do have to do administrative things. Like, that's part of the job and that's a blessing too. But to be able to say, okay, I just want to be attentive to the needs and to the people in my community. That's a huge part of it. And I'm sure you've seen that, Spencer, as you've been in a few different communities now of not necessarily restarting, but more so, how do I continue to use the outlets and the people around me as opportunities to further and develop them as disciples and disciple makers? That's such a unique opportunity, I'm sure, with kind of stopping and starting over again. What does that look like for you out in Conway since you've been there? Because you guys haven't been there, but how long you been in Conway now?
2 months.
Yeah,
a little over 2 months.
So what has ministry looked like for you, either previously, if you're still kind of getting involved, or what does it look like for you since you've gone out to Conway?
Yeah, I Zach, I feel like I'm still very fresh with ministry. I said almost 3 years I've been with FCA, but I've just learned so much to where I'm just trying to soak it all in, and the days are so short, and it just time flies by. But, and I do feel a little bit of the restarting as I move from city to city. But at the same time, there is some structure to what has been done through the ministry. Right now, it's big on relationships, like I talked about just a minute ago, building relationship, building rapport, going to practice. And these past 2 months, it's been a lot of just standing around, meeting people at practice, talking to the guys, talking to the coaches, having some great intentional conversations. But we're just now getting to the point of starting, me personally, I say we, but me starting huddles and getting established with routine. We've got our first Conway High School basketball huddle starting tomorrow, which I'm excited about. So things like that, man, they're coming along, planting the seeds, waiting for them to sprout. And sometimes that takes a little bit of time, a little bit of patience, a little bit of waiting. But we've gotten established, man. I've met so many cool coaches around Conway at CBC, UCA, Conway Christian, of course, Conway High School, and then Blake, Ryan, Dana, Ryan LaJeunesse, and Grace on the team, man. They're killing it. Conway is just thriving, honestly, and FCA is growing for sure, as it is in y'all's area too. But it is neat to be a part of that team in Conway and have some personal connection from when I went to college there. So
yeah, definitely. I think that's something that as a newer staffer myself, that was maybe not discouraging, but it's something you have to be reminded of, is that sometimes we're just called to plant the seed. Other times it just takes a little bit of time for that seed to grow and develop too. And I'm sure for you, you've seen that moving from area to area of, okay, someone's already laid the groundwork for the ministry that now I get to do and be part of. And like, brand awareness is cool. FCA is awesome. I'm glad that we work for an organization like this, but also for someone to have already come in and discipled and set up a structure of, hey, this is what discipleship looks like. This is what ministry looks like on your campus. Like, we would love to come in and help. I know for Josh, a lot of the schools that I'm in right now, some of that was Josh's seed that he had planted there of showing up. And was that easy? I'm sure it wasn't, because I've seen a lot of growth even since I've showed up there, but, and I'm sure you can speak on this a little bit more, Josh, but just being obedient to say yes. We talked about it in Stuttgart last week, but
talked about in staff meeting on Monday.
Yeah. Being present and showing up. Yep. So, yeah. Yeah.
It just goes back to me, to calling. I just knew that my calling was to the local church, and it was, I remember distinctly being a junior in high school and God calling me to ministry. And I said, no, I'll do missions, because missions was different in my mind at that time than ministry. It meant going to places, not doing, because my dad's pastor and I did not want to follow, not necessarily not following his footsteps, but not be treated, or my family one day to be treated like we were often treated in small churches all across the South and all that stuff. So ministry was off the table. Missions, I could do it. Senior year, finally surrender until God, fine, I'll do it. And I just remember distinctly, everybody's calling to ministry is different, but I knew that my calling was to the church. So when FCA came calling and said, hey, our mission is to lead every coach and athlete to grow in a relationship with Jesus Christ and his church, I said, I'm your guy. You don't have to tell me anything else. I don't know how we get paid. I don't know how it works or anything else. I just know I'm miserable, trying to do stuff on my own, trying to figure it out. But if I could minister to the local church, then I'm in. So whenever I'd show up to a campus, I'd ask the coach, do you go to church? What church do you go to? So I'm building a list in my mind of coaches on campus, what coaches have I taught to, and what church they go to. Then I call that pastor, hey, just want to make sure, hey, I'm FCA, I'm Josh Ader, area representative. Love to meet you too. Does this coach go to your church like he says he does? Most of the time they're like, what are you talking about? I've never seen him before. Well, he says he goes to your church. So I said, I just want you to know I'm doing my job to build a relationship with this coach to get him plugged into your church where he says that he goes or she goes, or they may not. I don't know. But I want to build a relationship to local churches so that the local church wins. So all the coaches that are on all of our campuses, the way I read our job description and our mission statement is to connect them to the local body. So it's all coaches. It makes it smaller. We have a smaller group of people that we're focused on to build a relationship, to lead them to a growing relationship with Jesus Christ and his church. So find the church that they can plug into and grow and be discipled and be loved on and not try to get too much from. But a lot of churches and a lot of coaches, especially in smaller towns, or maybe it's universal, wherever they go, a lot of coaches choose to go to church outside of the town that they coach in because they want to blend in. They don't want to be hassled or heckled or anything else when they show up to church and talk about shop and talk about football plays or talk about offense or defense or cultural dynamics. They just want to be, and they want to be fed. So to help them find those people, but showing up to like Sylvan Hills and everywhere else, it was just a coach and then a church and then a coach and a church and a church getting plugged into local. But it all goes back to calling to me. Why were you called? And then when you can operate inside of your calling, and that's when us personally as staff or anybody in the world, when you know your calling, then you know your identity. When you operate from your strengths, from your identity, who God has made you to be, then just continue to be faithful to show up and see God work in mighty and amazing ways.
Yeah, definitely. With that calling comes impact. And as we show up and make an impact on campus, there are so many stories and testimonies that I've even heard of. We talk about Fields of Faith and just the testimonies of students who come up and not just share the impact that FCA's made on their life, but share the impact that the Lord has made through their life. Would you mind just sharing maybe a story or two of some of the impact you've seen over your time with FCA to just kind of share a little bit of light to this was the moment where it was like, man, the Lord is so present right here, and this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. Maybe if you could, Spencer, just share a story or two of some kind of impact that you've seen with FCA.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we've talked about during this podcast, FCA is more than the huddle. This is Beyond the Huddle. And we deal with a lot of events, Fields of Faith, Course of Faith. We have camps, mini camps, coaches retreats, things of that nature. And so with me kind of bouncing around from city to city and digging roots, but I haven't really been deeply established in any city quite yet. I'm working on that now in Conway. I want to kind of tailor this story to FCA camp, man, because whenever I joined staff in 23, it took me 3 months to get to FCA camp. So I joined in February, March, April, May, June, and I went to camp, and I was very, very fresh and green. And I was like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing. I am new to the staff, but they're wanting me to serve as a huddle leader. And so I had my first group of junior high kids at FCA camp, and I'm just like, all right, here we go. I'm on staff. I'm leading these kids. Let's just do this thing, Lord. And so I had this one kid that had just moved to Arkansas that year. His dad, I think maybe works for the government. I don't know. It's top secret, so I can't say much because I don't know much.
He's a federal agent.
Yeah, federal agent. And so he had just moved.
He's listening right now.
I know the story.
Yeah, he knows the story.
Yeah.
So he just moved to Arkansas, and, man, he came into camp. Dude's a stud athlete. He's just a awesome basketball player. And as camp went on, you know how it goes. It seems like a long time, but when you're actually there in camp, it ends in the snap of a finger.
Yeah.
And so he was just submerged in truth. The gospel was presented to him. And there at camp, he had recognized and realized what was on the table, that Jesus had offered him a free gift of salvation. He recognized where he was in his life and wanted to make a change. And it began right there at FCA camp. And so following camp, he goes home. He's on fire. He's being kind of molded and shifted into the man that God's calling him to be. And then you fast forward a little bit. He's been involved with his school. He's helping lead at school now that he's seen what FCA is, and he knows what's available for him, and he can be a leader at his school. And so he's doing that. And the next year, he has to move away to South Dakota. His dad got a new job. And so he was not able to come back to camp where his life was radically changed. And so that was sad for him, sad for me. I was looking forward to seeing him again. And so this year, a few months ago, we had FCA camp, and he was like, man, I've got to find a way to get back to camp. I need to come back. I feel like I'm missing something. I want to be there, and you just got to help me find a way to go. He said, my sister's going, but I can't. And so He texted me back the next day and said, dude, my mom got me a plane ticket. I'm going to fly from South Dakota to the middle of Arkansas, and I'm coming to camp. And so sure enough, he shows up. He is just so excited to see what the Lord has for him. And at this point, I'm not a huddle leader, so I wasn't leading him, and I was kind of overseeing some other stuff. And he gets done with camp on the 4th day. He's ready to go home, and he comes up to me and says, Spencer, I know I'm young. I'm a sophomore in high school, but God has revealed to me that it's time for me to lead at my school in South Dakota. We don't have FCA. I don't know what this is going to look like, but I'm ready to start a huddle at my high school, but I need you to help me. And so I said, dude, I'll give you whatever you need. I've got resources that people have graciously provided. I've got fresh ideas that we can bounce off of one another. And he said, all right, I'm in. And he said, it's going to be scary. It's going to be difficult, but I'm ready to lead because of what has happened to me and the way that God has changed me at FCA camp. And so that's not a plug or a boast of Arkansas FCA. It's really a boast in Christ and what he does and how he changes us and then fuels us through the Holy Spirit to empower others as we as staff empower those people. So it's kind of a team aspect where we're all working together in this. But that story impacted me because I was intimidated myself, honestly. I was fresh to FCA. He was intimidated. He was fresh to the faith. But he grew me, and he doesn't even know this. If he listens, he'll be like, oh my gosh, well, I didn't know that I was impacting Spencer. But he did. He impacted me by his faith and his boldness. And that has elevated me to want to lead more young men like him. My heart is behind discipleship. We've been in a relationship for 2 years now to where I've just kind of been walking him through what it looks like to follow the Lord and discipling him and holding him accountable. And that's something I didn't have growing up. I had an amazing youth group, and my dad is awesome. He is just a wonderful father, but outside of the home, I didn't have anybody holding me accountable. And so everything that I was dealing with, I didn't tell anybody, and it ate me alive. It just destroyed who I was. And it wasn't until I got to college to where I was so broken. I was so tired of trying to fix my own sin on my own to where I finally said, you know what? I can't do this. I've got to confess. I've got to get this junk out, bring it to the light because darkness cannot hide in light. And that's what I did. And so that's really my passion behind FCA and why I am with this ministry. I know I'm called, but God has instilled in me the desire to help these shackles be broken from these young men, even the coaches too, to not be stuck in performance, to not be stuck in darkness and isolation, but to be freed from that and to have accountability, to have discipleship, to have community, because that's what we're called to do. It's kind of impossible to live life on your own. It's kind of impossible to do this with everything held inside. We've got to release it to our brothers. We got to confess, and we have to know that we are better when we are together. Honestly, that's kind of cliche, but that's what Ecclesiastes says, right? Yeah. I'm going to misquote this, but let me paraphrase when it says that, pity the one that falls down without another to help him up. Pity the one that lies down without no one to keep him warm. A strand of 3 cords is not easily broken. And that's the truth, right? And so this young man, going through camp, seeing him change. I just texted him before we started this podcast, and he is asking me for new ideas, and he needs some T-shirts and Bibles and things like that. But it's incredible, and that's what FCA does, man. We engage with athletes, we equip them, and we empower them to go and be bold and to spread the gospel at the community level throughout their schools. Yeah. And it's exciting and amazing to watch.
Absolutely. I think that speaks a lot to just the ability that, yes, we serve in Central Arkansas currently, but we serve the greater purpose to grow the kingdom of God. Yeah. And that's so cool. I love hearing that. That's really encouraging. Did you have anything, Josh?
Yeah, I think you totally downplayed FCA camp.
Well, Josh, that's your part. I'm looking at the script right here that doesn't exist. This is your part.
I pulled up the calendar. I'm like, well, everybody's already making plans. Like I talked with 2 college guys yesterday. They're like, I think I have to figure out what I'm going to do. Am I going to go to do another internship, or do I go back to Kaleo? What's my options? What can I do? Like, people are now thinking are about next summer already.
Yeah. Yeah.
So shameless plug here, but he said not to give FCA camp or Arkansas FCA credit. Yeah, we do. Because we're here and this is a ministry that we serve in. If you weren't in Arkansas FCA, would that story have happened?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Let's give it a little give it a little bit of credit here.
That's right. No, we're giving it some credit. We're giving it some credit for sure. I didn't know how much I could share. I didn't know how long I could
No, you're good. Yeah.
No.
So you have a role at Arkansas FCA camp, as do I.
Yes.
And next week or tomorrow or the next week, tomorrow we're interviewing Dana Huckabee, but it'll come on the week following. So you're listening to this on Monday week. Dana will be on, and she's been FCA camp for a long time too. A lot of people think, what is FCA camp? Didn't know that Arkansas had an FCA camp. June 7th through the 10th, 2026 is Arkansas FCA camp at Lonsdale at Spring Lake Assembly. It's junior high camp, incoming 7th graders through 9th grade. Incoming 9th grade is a junior high camp 7th through the 10th, and senior high is incoming 10th grade through graduating seniors is Thursday 11th through Sunday the 14th. A lot of people think, oh, I'm in high school, I can't go. A lot of athletes think, oh, I'm in high school, I can't go, I have weights, got to go. Well, here's the deal. You got weights in the morning, you show up to FCA camp at noon. Registration's at noon. Most people are off on Thursday. Most people are off on Friday. Then you have Saturday, Sunday, and you go back to lifting weights again on Monday. When you go back to lifting weights on Monday, it's like, what's his name that you just been talking about? You never said his name.
Yeah. Shout out.
Uh-huh.
Luke.
Yeah.
Big Luke.
Yeah, it's like Luke. Luke going in, he's going to a different state, but we have all kinds of states who come into FCA camp because of the life-changing encounter with Jesus they had, or the camaraderie, or the discipleship, or the accountability that they found, and they go back to their campuses with a new vigor and a new vitality, a new purpose of sharing Jesus, and that way they hit the ground running in the summer, building the relationships, and their falls are more successful. And sometimes on the field of play, sometimes in the weight room, a lot of times in the classroom, where conversations for Jesus are being had.
Mm-hmm.
So June 7th through the 10th is junior high camp, Sunday through Wednesday. Thursday noon through Sunday noon is high school camp. Start marking your calendar, save the dates. And
because it fills up quick.
It fills up fast, and there will be a waiting list, and that's not fun to be on the waiting list on the day of camp. Do I get to go? Do I not get to go? If you don't get the call, then you're upset. So don't put it off. Mark your calendars, and then when it hits, normally around March, somewhere around that time frame, when registration hits, your calendar's already ready to rock and roll, and just hit register and first in. Don't have to worry about last out.
That's right.
Yeah. Camp is really awesome. Any church camp that I've been to has been an incredible experience for me, but FCA camp kind of elevated that experience.
Absolutely.
Like, as athletes, we love to compete, and a camp that emphasizes like not just competition, but team competition, communication, and playing sports and doing things outside of, Josh talked about it earlier, but like bigger scale, doing something different than just the one sport you play year round is so beneficial. Like, you wouldn't believe the joy on some of those kids' faces getting to do something totally unrelated to the sport that they play, but still competitively driving them to.
Yeah. I think whenever you can get teenagers and you teach them how to compete, not just play or not just do a drill, but learn how to compete at any level, then that totally transforms the way that they show up to practice and compete for their coach at home.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's true too. I mean, camp is not only just a spiritual oasis in a hospital where the broken come in and they leave changed. It's same for the huddle leaders too. And even the staff, man, we come into camp every year, don't we? And we leave changed, but we have a lot of fun at camp too.
Mostly exhausted,
but sleep deprived.
Yeah.
And we might put on 5 or 10 pounds from the camp food, maybe 15, but we have a lot of fun too, don't we? I mean, we literally had Christmas in June last year. We were talking about Santa Claus at the beginning, but there was a really, really great Buddy the Elf guy that showed up, man.
It was Buddy the Elf.
But it was literally Buddy the Elf. The costume was like stitch by stitch,
There's
perfect.
There's a lot of angry elves in the room.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Maybe he'll come back next year. Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows?
I think the theme may be different.
Okay.
I will tell you the game day set they had. I don't know if that's been a thing before. Was that new this year? First time, man. If you watch College Game Day, which every Saturday I get amped up for some college.
There's
game
a chance they're coming to Arkansas.
I was about to say that.
Yeah. I've seen this whole Ouachita and Henderson.
Oh,
yeah.
Ouachita. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Big O.
Yeah.
We'll see.
College Game Day. Pat McAfee, Nick Saban, all those guys. If you're watching,
Reese Davis, come on, make it happen.
Let's go ahead and make it happen. Bring game day.
It's kind of funny how people butcher the name on ESPN.
I'm telling you.
Ouachita, Ouachita, Uchata.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, they were top 10. They were on there.
Yeah.
And they totally butchered. And Harding and Ouachita were both on there in the same week. Pretty awesome.
That's crazy.
We don't hold it against them.
No.
I was seeing, I've never been to Arkadelphia before and seen either of those campuses, but how close.
Oh, yeah.
They're like game day. It's so easy. Let's make it happen.
Road trip coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
It's a booming metropolis, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can get lost in that place.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Man.
So, talking about camp roles, what is your role at Arkansas FCA camp?
The male huddle leader coordinator. So I recruit and recruit the men for the huddle leaders. So, and that fills up quickly too. You got campers that are like, man, I want to be a huddle leader one day. And so they graduate high school and they come to be a huddle leader.
So to be a huddle leader at Arkansas FCA camp, most of the time we say we bring in college athletes. Is that always the case?
Not always the case.
So is there stipulations or guidelines? If anybody's listening and they're like, oh, I don't want to know about Arkansas FCA camp, could I work it? Give them a little pitch as to something that might stir something in them if they wanted to apply.
Yeah, I mean, usually you're going to find your athletes that want to come to FCA camp. And, I mean, from what I've seen, the majority, maybe 75% of huddle leaders have been campers before. So we're going to see a lot of campers come back. But if you've never been to FCA camp and you want to be a huddle leader, maybe you played sports in high school. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you play a sport in college. Great if you do. No problem if you don't. Come on. But we are looking for those that are ready to lead, hungry, and ready to serve, love the Lord, and can have a little bit of fun too, and like to compete because we compete, don't we, Zach?
Yeah, and have a little bit of endurance too.
And some endurance.
I was exhausted watching them go.
Yeah.
But yeah, we want to get you connected. Unfortunately, we have run out of time here, man. I love this conversation. We gotta extend our hours sometime. We'll have to have you back again in the near future, but. Man, if you want to get involved, plugged in FCA camp, please do that. It's not hard to find. If you get on social media,
ArkansasFCAcamp.org.
Yeah, ArkansasFCAcamp.org. Man, if you want to get plugged in, do it now. Start putting it on your calendar. We want to see you there. Spencer, thanks for being on, man.
Thanks
appreciate
for
you.
having me.
Thanks for sharing your heart a little bit, and we really appreciate you coming on and sharing a little bit about you and your life and where you're at. And,
passion for ministry.
Yeah. Baby Truitt.
Baby Truitt.
Coming soon.
Here he comes.
Coming to Conway near you. All right, folks. That's all the time we have. Thanks for joining us for Beyond the Huddle, the Central Arkansas FCA podcast, where faith meets competition. We'll see you next time.